Okay, preparing to live stream. It's loading. I'm gonna tell everybody.
Mine says meeting is now streaming live on YouTube.
Okay. Oh, well, there we are. Okay, let me tell everybody. Okay. All righty, Clarissa. Thank you for your patience.
Yeah, no problem.
So go ahead and it's weird though, because there's like a delay.
Is there?
Okay. So you just take off and start talking. Tell your story.
Okay. So should I just take off where I left off?
Yes, please. Or you can kind of bring them back up to par.
Okay. So basically bringing everybody back up to where we left off was I worked in the foster care system for about 9 years, but throughout that time, before I became a social worker, I was doing intake work and also helping certify foster parents. And throughout that time, my passion for fashion, which is funny, never died. It was always something that was a love of mine since I was a child. And so as I continue to pursue that on the side,
Clarissa,
yes.
I'm sorry. Do you have two things open?
Mm, on my phone, I have the Facebook. And then here, no, I don't think I have anything else.
Okay. Okay, we're good. There we go. I fixed it. Keep going. Sorry. There you go.
No problem. Is this good?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So even though I had a passion for fashion, for clothes, for styling, I never really pursued it that much until mm, I don't know. I think it was I got asked to style someone for a red carpet event, and so I was like, okay, let
Was
me.
that the NFL wife?
Yes, a friend of mine. Her husband was
Okay.
in Excel at the time, and they had a red carpet event to be at, and she was just like, "I love your style," which is what kind of always happened. I was always since I mean, God, since like high school, I always remember all of my friends always coming to me um, for like styling tips and how do I wear this and what should I wear and for prom and all of that. So then as adulthood set in, I would literally get stopped at the store by women. Where did you buy that? Oh my God, I love how you're dressed. And so when she asked me to style her for that event, that was one of my first events. And then it kind of turned into like music videos and stuff like that. So
Wow.
yeah, so like
Wow.
a few a few things. And so I was like, okay, this is something here. Like this is, I guess I never knew that it was needed. I just thought I'm just good at this. I assumed everybody knew how to put outfits together. And I realized no, people don't.
They
No.
don't. Oh, girl. Oh my God. Come on now. Everybody knows, we were, I have to say I'm guilty. Sometimes I see people and things and you go like, my husband and I would look at each other and we're like, what was she thinking? You know what I mean? But let me ask you this, because a stylist, not all stylists have the craftiness or the talent to design clothing. They may know what goes well with something and make it look really good on someone, but it doesn't mean they can sit down and do all that sketching and fabrics, and it's almost like being an engineer because you got to know what fabric goes with which and how it's going to be put together and how it has to be cared for. Do you make it where it's washable, dry clean? There's a lot that goes into it. I know. I watch Bold and the Beautiful. You know, the soap opera. And so how did you, I mean, did you automatically, when you started styling, know that you were going to be a designer, or did you kind of evolve into, you know what, I need something that, and then you got to figure out what body type. So how did you get there?
Yeah. So after styling for a few years, so the way it started for me, because I never wanted to not ever, but I never really thought of like, oh, I want to be a designer one day. Maybe like in my wildest dreams, remember? Because I was like, I'm in social work. Like social work and design is like two whole different worlds. I have a
Yeah.
degree in psychology. Like I didn't go to design school. You know what I mean?
Right.
So even though I had this desire, like, oh, I would love to do that. I was like, I'm really bad at math and you need to measure stuff. And I'm not a great artist. And so I
Mm,
thought of all of the things I was not that I always associated with, oh, as a designer, I need to do all these things. I need to have all these qualities, right?
yeah.
So what happened was as I styled, I started thinking like, huh, if I would have designed this, I would have added pockets to this. I would have cinched the waist here. I would have made it more functional, or these were the thoughts that kind of started playing in my head. And so that's kind of where this designer in me kind of came out, was just of ways of how I would have made it differently. And so, or like I always noticed, I would always get dresses and then I would tuck them in to make them like blouses. So
Wow.
those things as a stylist, I was kind of like, you know what, I would love to create for women, and I have them actually. I should have brought it out, but I would love to create like blouses in the same design as a dress, because sometimes when you tuck in the dress, it gets really chunky. And
Yeah.
so, but if you love the dress, why would not have it in a blouse as well? So those are
Hmm.
kind of things I did. So that's kind of where it started. And so it just started with an idea, then it went to a sketch, and then I'm out here like near LA. So like aside from like in New York and Paris and stuff, like we're another fashion hub out here. Like so I just literally started going and to the fashion district and touching fabrics and playing with fabrics. And it's so crazy because now when I look back, my mom used to take us there when I was like 13,
Hmm.
just which we called the callejones, like in downtown LA,
The garment district.
the garment district.
I used to go down there. Believe it or not, I used to be in the 80s. I was the executive assistant to the president of Beverly Hills Polo Club.
Oh,
And they were the ones that started at the boys started it at I think USC doing
mhm.
little shirts and stuff, and then they sold it. Yeah, and so we'd go down there, and I mean, I remember packing up racks of garments. That was my job, and so yeah, that's why I know that there's a lot into it. All the swatches and all the different things that the pattern room and all the yeah, yeah. So yeah, and that's why I was like, wow, people have no idea all that goes into so I want to ask you this. So you're a one woman show pretty much when
Mhm.
it comes to getting everything from start to finish. Do you sit at a sewing machine and actually like even like the first the
Yeah.
first blouse or the first dress, do you really sit there and or do you send it to somebody and then they make it?
Yeah, so I outsource everything. So it starts with it starts with a sketch. And then from sketching we do like tech pack, and then it basically goes to a sample maker. So they will make it, and then they usually have a fit model. Um and so they put it on the fit model, see how it works, see how everything looks on her. Do we need to make any changes? And then from there, we manufacture. So,
So
mhm,
interesting. You see, I'm like, I got a million questions. And that's what happens when you're the first one ever. So sorry. I'm beating you up with questions. So listen, first thing I thought about, and I know someone out there will probably be curious about this as well. So like when I'm in Target, okay, and because I only say that because I was there a couple weeks ago and this mannequin stood out to me. I was going actually to another department, but I passed her, and I was like, oh, look at that. They have a plus size mannequin, which you see more and more of now. So when you're designing something, do you design it? Do you design just for one size, like the what we see on television and in magazines, or do you see people and go, or even do you ever use yourself and say, because I heard you say you were a shorter person. Does that play in? It's not just always what's this way. It's also sometimes the height too, what looks good and what doesn't. I know that because I'm a shorter guy and I always wish I was taller. So a suit would look really great on me like it does those guys, but that'll never happen. So how do you decide who your market is and who you are designing for? Or do this garment might be for that person and here oh, this would be great for a plus size. How do you do that?
Yeah, no, for sure. So, my sizes are small, medium, large.
Okay.
Um, so I get hit up all the time to do plus size, and not that I don't want to. Like that's amazing. I would love to do that one day. But right now my sizes are small, medium, large. So when you're designing, all it really is, it's usually just inch and a half out every from a small to
Nice.
a medium, from a medium to a large.
Okay.
So by from a small to a large, you've probably just gone out like 3 inches, but it's literally the same, but it's just you just
A
take it
little
out
bit bigger.
a
Yeah.
little bigger. So because this was my first time designing, I didn't. And here's the thing about design: it is so time consuming. It's not cheap. You know what I mean? And so, um, when I was like, let me give it a try, let me see if I'm good at this, let me see if this is something that I can do. I stayed with the most simple thing to do, which is small, medium, large.
Okay.
And so that's where I'm at. That's probably I had been working on a new collection. And then of course I have a fashion show in July that I got asked to be a part of. I had gotten asked to go to Paris, but because of all of this that's going on,
Oh yeah.
like
Oh,
everything is canceled. Yeah.
wow. So Paris.
Yeah, so I got hit up to go to either they offered me to go to New York, Paris, or Milan to showcase. So um it's crazy because like I am just like overwhelmed because I in my wildest dreams like I was like, "Oh, one day that would be amazing." Like just kind of like in passing, like, "Oh,
Yeah. Uh,
that would be great." And then to get hit up like within, I mean, so I started the brand in 2017, but we didn't launch until 2018 because designing takes a while and photo shoots and models and all of that, right?
lot. There's a lot. Yes.
Trademarking my name, the company name, the labels, like everything, you know?
Mhm.
So all of that. So in 2018 is when we launched. So a year later to already be to because I got asked in 2019, but like to be asked to go to Paris was just
Crazy.
mind blowing.
Yes. Congratulations.
Thank
There's
you.
a bell ringer on that. So
Oh,
let me ask you something. When okay, have you ever had one of your sample pieces come back and it was like, oh God, no, this is not what I thought it was going to be. Either
yeah,
the fabric didn't move the way, or it just didn't hang right, or has that ever happened?
yeah, for sure. Actually, it's funny because I have like one of my first samples here, but like, which I could probably show you guys. But I went, so I had to change my sample makers a few times. Um, I probably changed, and the material, actually, the material more than the sample makers. I probably only went to 2 or 3 sample makers, which is kind of a waste of money. And the fabric I had to change. Um, or not only that, but I had found a fabric I loved, but
Mhm.
I didn't buy enough of the fabric. And when I went to try to go back and get it, they couldn't get it anymore. They were like,
Oh,
we haven't gotten that fabric anymore. So it was a chiffon material and it was like really hard to get. And so, excuse me. So I just remember thinking like, oh my God, like it was in a really pretty mauve color. And they're like, we can't get this anymore. Like it's gone. It's done. And so that happens. So then you have to like find new fabric and try to find fabric that's similar to it because that's already your style and people want that. So yeah, for sure that happens.
so here's a good one. Are you ever torn? Uh, because do people expect you to always wear your own garments? You know, like your own walking model, like that top that you have on now. I'm
This
assuming
is
that's one of yours.
yeah, this is from my store. Yeah.
Okay, so and I assumed that. So if we were just like at a black tie fair or something, and I was some kind of woman or whatever, or even a guy, and I was like, so, is that do people? What's it like when you're not in one of your garments and they ask you, and you go, oh no, this isn't mine? Are they like, what kind of
Yeah.
designer are you wearing other people's stuff?
Yeah. So I get asked a lot. They're like, "Oh, is that new palm?" And I'm like, "No." Um, or that's usually what it is, like, "Oh, is that new palm?" Or I'll get like, "Oh my God, love your outfit. Is that new palm?" Like, and I'm like, "No, it's not." But then I'll ask, like, "Would you like to see stuff like this?" Like, you know,
Ah,
is this, you know what I mean? So I kind of
yeah.
do that. Um,
test the market. Everything
Yeah.
is about. So there's always a purpose behind everything you put on
Yes. Like,
because people expect that from you, don't they?
and it's kind of good because it's so this is so I was a stylist first, right? So I style people. So I don't even right now, like I've been on Instagram, I'm sharing to women, even though we're on this like self quarantine,
Mhm.
we're quarantined, like you should still not wake up looking a hot mess. Like
Right?
you need to
Hey.
get together. You.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, did she just come for me?
No, I did
I'm
not.
kidding. I'm kidding. Here we
I
go.
tell women, like I tell women
Right.
all the time, like you should not be at home like without showering or not putting a little bit of something on, because
Hmm.
there's a like a direct correlation with how you look and how you feel and then like your productivity. And so like I'm always telling women, like even if you're in yoga pants, you can put a really cute, like oversized knitted sweater and put your hair up
Mm.
in a bun, some cute gold earrings and a lipstick, and you look cute in your
Hmm.
Uggs. I did a live the other day that way, comfy and cute. Like, and so I really have always, for years, I've been saying that to women in general. I would rather be way overdressed than underdressed. So I kind of already go out.
Right. Right. I get that because you can always take something off, but
Yes.
if you don't have it with you, you can't always reach and put something on.
Right.
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 Right. Right. Right. Right. So
Because I was like,
what?
do I want to come in with these this morning?
Oh.
I don't know.
Oh. Yeah. Because you were like, I might be a little bit over. Now let's talk about that. What is it? When does a person? How do you break it to someone that they may need a stylist? Because people that you look and you go, oh, what was she thinking? Or, oh, girl, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. Why do you look like you're coming from the Golden Globes? You know, um, how, what is the politically correct way to let someone know that they might need help with their look?
So this is what I say. Almost anyone could use a stylist because what happens is everybody gets comfortable with their
Mm,
style.
mm,
So you need someone who has a trained eye to be able to come in and kind of update your look, right?
so for my friend who still wears the Jennifer Aniston hairdo,
Which one?
the first one, the
Mm,
Friends one
which
from
one?
way back in.
I'm Googling this right now.
Oh, you don't remember that?
I'm trying to remember because I always
You're
remember
young.
I love Friends.
And Jennifer Aniston, I do too. That hairdo is from the 90s.
Are we talking about this one here? Because I feel like she's always had her hair the same. Wait, are we talking about this hairdo? I hope we're not talking about this one. This like short, this.
I think that, yeah, that's the one.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
And, you know, and it's like this. And, oh, here's my question. I want to make sure my husband's not listening. Honey, okay, what about people who refuse to get rid of clothes out of their closets that are decades old, thinking
So,
it'll come back in style?
mhm. Yeah, if it's all black, maybe. All black,
Oh,
maybe.
no.
No.
Uh-uh. Just clothes from, I mean, come on now. You know what I'm saying.
I do. So
What is that people can't let go of stuff? Is it because their body changes?
I have something called it's a closet takeover.
Mm,
So it's called Clarissa's Closet Takeover, and I come into your closet because people make us they have emotional attachments to clothes. So you'd be surprised how many times I have gone into closets
mm,
and people listen. I had to tell a friend of mine. Like a lot of my clients become really good friends of mine, or we just
mhm.
So
I
I've
can
had
see
to
that.
go into someone's closet, and I was like, "What is this moo thing?" And then they're just like, "Oh, that was from like my maternity. That's a maternity dress." And I'm like, "Are you planning on getting pregnant again?" No, I'm like, "Your baby is 3 years old. You don't want to have any more kids? No, okay, then throw it away." Oh, but and I'm like, "No,
Girl,
we got to get rid of it."
right.
So what I tell people is, so I come in, I have no emotional attachment to anything you own. So I can just come in and say that was from 1980, throw it away. And there's literally stuff in people's closets for 20 years.
I in this house.
Yeah. So I do it virtually now is what, and I actually have a client this week. We're going to do it virtually because we're quarantined. And what I'm telling people is you can't make room for the new if you're still holding on to the old.
Exactly. Exactly. My husband, I'm gonna because he might watch this, but I'm just saying this. Every closet in the house, and to the point where in one room, all the stuff that was bolted into the walls came out. We had to rebuild the whole closet because there was that much stuff hanging on. Right. So it's better now because that kind of opened up the eyes, but it is a thing. It is a thing. I have a sister. She has clothes that weren't even hers that she got from people that is like from the 60s. And okay, now if you're gonna have retro parties and stuff like that, yeah, you have a lot of dress up stuff. But for real, so it's the emotional attachment that I was missing, and now I get it. So let me ask you because man, see, our time is even with the changing of the venue, moving over to YouTube, this has really gone quickly. I'm gonna have you back. Um, Tell me about this. Tell me about, why is it what was it about the foster care experience that now I think it's a beautiful thing you're doing, where a portion of all your sales goes to help. Tell us about what you do. I know you did a dorm room and all the things you do to help one kid at a time that's in the foster care system. And why is that so passionate and a part of your heart?
Yeah. So like I grew up, my parents were pastors, so all I ever seen was, I just grew up, we were just always giving back, always. Like
Mm,
I remember people were always at our house, like we were just everything was a community, right? It was always about looking out for someone else. And so when I came into the foster care system as a just as an employee, I
mhm,
remember this desire of wanting to do more. Like, how does the world not know? How are people not helping?
mhm,
Like,
mhm.
yes, you always hear about, and I'm not saying that, oh, like the homeless community or this or that community is
Sure.
less, but all I'm saying is these are children who did not have a choice. Like,
Right.
this wasn't their choice. They didn't make a decision. They didn't, you know what I mean? They didn't fall into
Right.
some financial.
Exactly. Right, and we didn't, I didn't, like, pack up my stuff and crawl out of my crib and say, "Forward my formula to 1214 Elm Street. I'm out of here,"
Right.
and then crawl down the street.
Yeah.
And a lot of kids, they don't have control over that. So tell everybody, give a few examples of some of the things you've done because it's not like you just do one thing. It's
And
almost like you do whatever the need is at the time with the
yeah.
kid. So, yeah.
So one of the first things we did is, so I helped one of my foster girls get into college. So I helped her with the application process, and she got into Cal State LA, which is huge, especially
Yes.
with statistics in foster youth and college and graduation, all of that. So it was something super exciting. And I was like, we have to do something. And my brand was barely starting. And so I with some of the money we had made, we helped get her items, basic things like it was just food, like which college kid doesn't want like snacks and food and bedding. And
Mhm.
then we connected with an agency, and with some of my friends, people just donated pillows, like I mean, it was just a lot of stuff, like frames for her wall, like
Yeah.
just completely come in. So we picked her up from her foster home. Because I was a social worker at the time too. And we picked her up, filled up the car, got all her stuff. We drove her to Cal State LA. We checked her in. We have a video actually of the whole process.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, and then we helped decorate her dorm room. And so we did that. That was the first thing we did. And then since then we've like met with activists who've come and they've spoken to our girls. We've done swag bags. We've had empowerment, like we've gotten like 15 girls, went to a really nice hotel in LA. And along with another foster agency, like we've had these events. And then this December for Christmas, we had our first toy drive,
Nice.
and literally it was just like on my heart, like we have, because if we're gonna be honest, sometimes foster children
Mhm.
get like their foster parents should be buying them gifts.
Sure. But it doesn't always happen that way.
One, it doesn't always happen. And two, if it does sometimes, and there's some, I'm not saying, I mean, there's some foster parents one of my foster parents bought my kid like a DS, like like some $300 PlayStation thingy. Like
Right.
she did that. So there's a foster parents who go over and beyond.
Mhm.
But then there's also been times where I'm like, what did you get for Christmas? They're like, oh, like an Axe, like what is it called? You know, the Axe
Body
body.
spray.
So when I'd hear stuff like that, I'm just like, what the heck? Like,
Mhm. Mhm.
so I just said I have to make sure that my kids and as many kids as possible get more, you know?
I love it. I
So
love it.
we had our first toy drive, we got over 200 gifts.
That's awesome. And I want you to let us know when you do these things so that we can get the world behind you. And I want to just say something a little not off topic, but uh, it touched my heart when you were talking about the girl who went to college, and I can't wait to see that video. That's a big deal, and I'm glad to see it because there's very few things in the foster system. The trash bags are still out there. Kids are still being handed trash bags. I was handed a trash bag in 1976, and they're still doing it. And in 1980, when I graduated high school, thank God that I got accepted into Up With People and went on the road with them for a year, and then directly from there into the U.S. Air Force for 4 years. But the reason I didn't want that, what I really wanted was college.
Mhm.
But back then, there was nobody. My social worker was a great woman, but they didn't help us with FAFSAs and things like that. And also, the FAFSA wasn't designed for a foster kid back then. You had to give it to your parents for the taxes and stuff. And how do you do that when the state is your parent? And there was nobody to help me. They were like, I don't know, that's not my job. That's what I got. So college was automatically crossed off my list as an option when other kids were, visiting schools and, sending in application. And I didn't have application fees and things like that. And there was nobody to help me. And so it really warms my heart to hear that there is some progress as far as the needle
Yeah,
moving.
yeah.
So
And
that's
even
great.
on the financial aid form, you literally can check now that you're a foster youth.
See, thank God. Yay. That's great stuff. That's great stuff. Um, let's see. So what's coming up? Oh, and I know that's a hard question because of everything so tenuous right now. But let's say that the quarantine and the virus and everything ends next week. What can we look forward to in 2020 and beyond from New Palm Collection?
Yeah. So we do have a fashion show coming up in LA in July.
Mhm.
I actually just got an email and they're saying they're hoping that's still, what's going to happen. But in the meantime, we don't know. But yeah, July is our next fashion show.
Okay.
So September is still when they like the whole invitation to Paris or Milan or New York happen. I don't know just because production and everything is kind of at a halt, but that would, if not in 2020 and 2021, that's for sure something. And not
Awesome.
only that, but like still wanting to give back. Um, and helping as many foster youth as we possibly can is really the goal. So the goal is increase sales because to me, an increase of sales means an increase of how many people I can help.
That's right. That's right. I love it. I absolutely do. I want to throw these and I will type them into the comments before we get out of here. And I will also, because of us being over here on YouTube instead of where we are supposed to be, I will make sure that I post all of these sites and places you can find New Palm Collection, or just if you're interested in continuing dialogue here with our guest today, Clarissa. So get ready. It's New Palm Co newpalmco.com is the website. There's also, is there a New Palm Collection at gmail.com?
Correct.
Okay, New Palm Collection at gmail.com, and also Instagram, where they're really big over there. It's a beautiful, beautiful Instagram page. I checked it out this morning, and that's at New Palm Collection. So one more time, newpalmco.com is the website, New Palm Collection at gmail.com, and finally at New Palm Collection for all of you IG followers. Who's your role model as far as designers?
Mhm. And by the way, to the way I always tell people, like palm, like a palm tree. That's how you remember.
Palm, yes.
Mhm.
Okay, that one too.
Palm tree. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
California.
easy for you to say in California. We're in Chicago.
I know, right?
This
So
is the only palm we know. So anyway, yes.
that's
So
really
okay, palm tree,
yes.
palm. There you go. So yeah, so who's your favorite designer and why?
So I've always been obsessed with Chanel. Like I've always just been,
Mm,
I've just classic, like timeless
mhm,
sophistication. Like I always like Gabrielle Chanel, just like her designs were amazing, right? And then of course like Karl Lagerfeld took over and stuff. But I've always loved. I've just I've always been obsessed with just Chanel, like not only the clothes, but just the strength of like the woman, you know what I mean?
mhm,
So
mhm, mhm,
and she was just like a trailblazer. And
mhm,
so that's really when I think of like things I love, like clothes I love, bags I love, I just think
mhm.
Chanel always.
Okay, here's a good one. Do you remember? Because I know it had to have happened. So, do you remember the first time you were minding your own business, shopping or having lunch or whatever you were doing, driving down the street, and you spotted one of your pieces on someone that you did not know? Has that happened?
That that I didn't know. Not in person, online.
Oh, so you saw it somewhere though, and
Yeah,
you're
not
like, "Is that my so and so? Is she wearing my?"
right. The other thing that's happened is I was in Vegas and I was walking by this really like fancy store and I looked in and I was like, is that my design on their wall? Like I had to walk in there. It looked so similar. It looked so
Wow,
similar to my design. It wasn't, but I even had to go and post it, and everybody was blowing me up like, "Oh my god, it looked just like yours." Beyonce recently wore something almost identical to my design. So,
really?
yes.
How's that make you feel?
So it made me feel amazing because you know how it is. Like, and people, I don't like to believe they do it with a wrong intent, but when I was designing and I was showing it, because, and now I've learned a little bit, but
Mhm.
you don't want to show everyone your stuff, right? Because if
No.
you listen to what people say, that can really affect you and can affect your design process. But I
Mhm.
remember people telling me stuff about certain designs and me feeling a certain type of way. And it was like, oh, like it wasn't good enough. So when I seen
Mhm.
that picture more recently of Beyonce wearing, and I'll show it to you. Let me bring it one
Okay,
second.
sure, great.
So it's this one with the ruffles. So
Is
it
that
has
a blouse? Okay,
yeah,
that's a blouse. Now you have a dress that's similar. It's
yeah,
the one that you're wearing in the promo piece we use
yeah,
for the show.
yeah,
Okay, see,
yeah.
I know your
Yeah.
designs.
Thank you.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So this one, so when I was designing this, this is a dress that looked very similar to what Beyonce was wearing. So let me just put this here. So it looked very similar to what Beyonce's wearing. Hers is turquoise, but it's almost identical. And so I remember feeling like, imagine if, so one, it makes me think Beyonce could potentially be wearing my stuff one day. Like
Exactly.
thought second, because like in regards to style is something that her stylist obviously liked for her that she was willing to wear. And then the other thought that came up was like, imagine if I would have listened to what people said, you know?
There you go. Instead of
So,
your own first mind,
yeah,
which is the mind that is connected to the creator.
yeah.
Everything after that is second, which is why we know it as second guessing.
Mm,
Boom, there you go. Take that one with you. Wow, I cannot believe it, Carissa, that our time is up. And in closing, tell us about kombucha.
kombucha.
Because I have it written down here. and I don't want to miss this.
Kombucha. Yeah, kombucha is a fermented tea, and then they put some bacteria in it. So it's gut health. So
Gut
it's
health.
such an LA thing, you know? It's such a LA thing at
It
me.
is because I'm like, okay, kombucha. And you said it so nonchalantly, like everybody knows what this is. I was like, who?
I was like,
I'm like, I thought it was an African singer. So, so, and I want to say, how many times have people said, do you know you look like Valerie Bertinelli?
no, no
Never.
ever said
Oh
that.
my God, I wish I had a split screen picture. You don't
Yeah,
even know who that is. You're
I feel
Googling
like
her.
I am,
Oh
but
my
that sounds
God,
familiar. But
Valerie Bertinelli.
hold on, I found her.
I, I
You
think
know
she.
who I used to get a lot?
Who?
Kelly Clarkson.
Kelly Clarkson.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, back in the day.
I don't see it.
I used
Valerie. Valerie.
to
Well, okay. Young, early Kelly Clarkson. Early because of your hair and stuff, right?
yeah, yeah.
Did you find Valerie Burton?
Oh,
Yes.
yes. And not only that, but look at who they put side by side. They put her and Kelly Clarkson. I guess they
Are you
thought,
serious?
yes.
Oh, that's funny. Now, don't you see though? Okay, look.
Oh, yeah, I see it. I
Okay, I'm not crazy. That crazy. Yes, that's funny. They have them next to each other.
I don't know
Well,
what.
there we go. There we go. We are on the right track. So listen, our time is finished for today. I want to thank you so much for first of all getting up with the crack of dawn, sharing your lovely designs with us and your even more lovely story about give back and purpose. You have an open invitation. Anytime you need to get something out to the masses, the door here at Bathrobe Moments is totally open to you. Just let me know and we'll get you on the docket. Get out
Thank
there and
you.
keep doing what you're doing, changing lives one at a time. And for all of you watching, I want to say thank you so much for joining us here today on Bathrobe Moments. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Central, God willing, where we will have Sean Clark, the CEO and founder of another design known as Constant Coverings. Jill Scott's wearing her designs right now. So we're going to find out how she do it. It's Design Week here on Bathrobe
Mhm.
Moments. Thank you so much, everyone. I will be posting all of the connectors where you can reach out to New Palm Collection. And if you want to talk to Clarissa personally, you can do that as well through the three connectors that I'll be posting on the page. So go there for that. Thank you so much. Get out
Thank
there and have
you.
a great day. Be the blessing. But first, remember, in order to be a blessing, you need to see a blessing. Bye,
Mhm.
everybody. Thank you, Clarissa. Have a great day. God bless you so
Yeah.
much.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye now. And we are